Buying your first real estate investment will be one of the most terrifying but exciting things you ever do. I'm going to tell you what happened with my first one. I promise you, you will get something out of this story that can help with your first investment. I bought my first 3-unit residential investment property in 2013. I graduated in 2011 from UCLA, where my major was sociology. All I cared about in college was pole vaulting. Here I am in a goofy pose back in the day, and me jumping over the bar. The reason I tell you this is so that you understand that I came into real estate super green. As green as the Green New Deal is. Green means brand spanking new. I was a fish out of water. I hope that gives you comfort, that anyone can do this. It took me a year and a half before I bought it. I spent that time learning like a madman. I hit the gas and crammed my brain with any info I could get a hold of. Google, YouTube, books, online classes. I went to UCLA extension classes 4 to 5 nights a week and just audited it for free. I just sat in there and listened. Nobody ever asked me to leave. But if you're the one proactively searching for knowledge, it sticks much better and allows you to come up with your own creative ideas. My sister Lauren recently told me about Shoshin. When you Google it, it's a word from Zen Buddhism meaning beginner's mind. It refers to having an attitude of openness, eagerness, and lack of preconceptions when studying a subject, just as a beginner would. That is basically what I'm doing right now with YouTube. 4 months after I graduated and learned about all the people who had made a fortune doing real estate investment, I knew I wanted to somehow buy my first property. Well, wanting to buy real estate and having no money was a huge problem. I had a tiny bit of real estate knowledge with no practical experience. My mom and dad had just divorced, so I went to my dad, who was a psychologist, and told him we should invest together. He was not a wealthy man. My dad had about $30,000 in his bank account, but he owned a house that had nearly $500,000 of equity in it. So I told him that he should sell it and buy an investment with me. It took me 2 months to convince him, but I did convince him, and onwards we went. By the way, did you like this video? Oh, you did? My bad. Sorry, I didn't realize. Thanks. I had been studying sales comparables for months prior to actually buying a property. It is extremely important when buying deals to pick specific areas where you're going to buy. I had chosen Santa Monica because me and my dad were going to own or occupy a unit. In most places in LA, it is rent controlled, which means that you can only raise the rent a certain amount every year, which also means that there are some ridiculously low paying tenants that are stuck in place. But when you own or occupy, you're allowed to pay a relocation fee to the unit that you're moving into. It's a good investment strategy for many reasons. When I was studying Santa Monica for buying an investment, I went down to the city to learn as much as I could about rent control and also owner occupying. What I learned was special. I found a rule that not too many people knew about. If you buy a 3-unit property, not 4, only 3 or less, if you own or occupy, the whole building becomes non-rent control. When you focus on an area and do research, you find out things that can make you a lot of money. Back to the search of a property. I knew that good deals popped up occasionally, so I just had to be patient. I kid you not, within a few days of my dad's house selling, a deal popped up in Santa Monica. A 3-unit apartment building in the Pico neighborhood. It was 3,011 square feet. It was built in 1999, which was really new and rare compared to most 1920s buildings. It had a front house that was 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and 2 units in the back that were stacked on top of each other, each being 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom. It was for sale at $1 million flat. This was undervalued. I had seen 3 units selling for $1.2 million, all the way up to $1.7 million. There is a question here you're probably asking yourself. Why the heck did they list it at $1 million? If you take away anything from this video, this would be the thing to take. People undersell their properties all the time. The truth is that they are busy with their own lives and don't pay attention to where values are. They have their own problems, and then they make a key mistake. They trust certain real estate agents that they shouldn't. Here's an example of how a situation might go, and does go, I'm sure, all the time. Hey Mike, I just inherited a 3-unit apartment building. What should I do with it? maybe sell. You could even move to Europe. Well, that's a good idea. Do you know anyone who can help me sell? Well, I actually know this real estate agent over in Fontana, about 50 miles away. I think he could get you a great price. Oh, that's a great idea. You want me to sell a 3-unit apartment building for you in Santa Monica? Hold on, 1 second. I have no clue what that's going to be worth, but I'm going to get 50 grand. Yeah, I'll sell it for you, no problem. This sort of thing happens all the time. It is just what happens and presents an opportunity for those who are looking for a deal and know how to spot one. It's harder to price a multifamily property than you might think. It's not just looking at other properties' price per square foot and using the same amount. There are other factors involved, like the income, the size of the building, the condition of the building. There are a lot of variables, and what usually happens is someone just picks one value indicator and prices the property. It is almost never malicious, just a lack of understanding, combined with incentive for the agent to earn a commission. And that is what happened with this 3-unit in Santa Monica. The day it came on the market, I knew it was good. I called the listing agent and told him my father and I wanted it. I told him that he would represent me and get both sides of the commission. Over $50,000 would go to him. Of course he was motivated to have us be the buyer. And less than 24 hours later, we were under contract. I want to tell you though, I was flying by the seat of my pants. I didn't understand the process for going under contract, what the offer was, how a contract worked. My mind was overloaded with real estate stuff. What I did think I understood, and the most important part, was that this was a good deal and that I should buy it. I was faking it with the agent, telling him that this was going to be no problem and that we would be the easiest buyer to work with, and in some way, that was true. I just wanted to buy it. During the inspection day, where I hired a general inspector to come out and check out the property, the agent told me that he had more offers come in the following day for over $1.2 million and were hoping that I fell out of contract so that they could buy it. Once I knew that, I just had to make sure I closed escrow. The next step was that he asked me about the price I wanted to pay and also what terms I wanted to put in the contract. I had no idea on either one of those things. As far as price, I wanted to pay the least amount of money without losing the deal. I also wanted to make sure that the offer was accepted before there was a bidding war. So I asked the agent what he thought would get the deal done ASAP. At first, he told me asking price for $1 million. So I said yes to that. Then he asked me about the terms for the deal. I had no clue. So I said, "What do you think?" He proceeded to say things I didn't understand, and I just said, yes, yes, yes. As I think back on the experience, I was lucky. The basic terms as I look back at the contract now were 30-day escrow, 17 days of buyer investigations, sellers choose title and escrow, $25,000 initial deposit, 17-day loan contingency. My God, these were pretty favorable for me. Usually I have to be much more aggressive now. Clearly, the listing agent who was also representing me wanted to make this deal happen for himself. $53,000 will do that to someone, I guess. For us, the only thing that I had to make sure happened was getting the loan. We got a loan of $802,000. That meant our down payment was $267,000 plus a bit of closing costs. So about $280,000 out of pocket to buy this deal. I would still have $220,000 for the upgrades, tenant buyouts, and holding costs. Little did I know at the time that this wouldn't be enough to get to the finish line. So we had 30 days to close escrow. Closing escrow means the seller gets all their cash and the buyer gets the grant deed signed over to them and recorded with the city. Our loan wasn't ready in time. Luckily, the listing agent delayed for the days we needed for the loan to come through. Stressful days, let me tell you. The loan was at 3.5% interest rate. I pay 5 to 6% interest rate now. I missed that 3.5%. Our monthly payment was $3,100 principal and interest, and that was buying the property. Next came the real work. Owner occupying is a touchy subject. It's a tough one that a lot of people have mixed feelings about. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. The wrong way is to just post a notice and wait. Just because this is legally what you're supposed to do does not mean that it is how you should do it. This has been someone's home for a long time, and you're basically telling them that they have to leave. It can be a harsh process, even though they're getting paid a nice relocation sum. In this case, it was about $18,000. It's still very difficult for people to have to move. Learn to be compassionate and empathize with the people in the unit. Have a conversation with them. Still, you need to consult with an attorney and provide all the needed documentation and notices, but have a real conversation with the tenant and let them know that you understand that it has been their home and that you are sorry. For this 3-unit, I had to decide which unit my father and I were going to own or occupy. I was 25 at the time and was willing to live with my dad, and he was apparently willing to live with me. It would save money. We decided on the 2-bedroom, 1-bath unit. Sharing a bathroom with my dad was something else, let me tell you. The front house ended up being late on their rent. We served them a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit, and I kid you not, they left the unit 5 days later. The top unit above our 2-bedroom ended up staying put in their unit. They had a rent-exempt unit. This building was rebuilt in 1999 after the 1994 Northridge earthquake, and part of the deal of the rebuild was that the top unit rent would be low income forever. So we had 2 units to upgrade and also the outside of the property. Hey guys, part 2 of this story is coming out in the next few days. If you like this first part, make sure you hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned.